everybody. Welcome to our informal talk about DIY estate planning. This is a hot topic, let me tell you. It's flying around the internet. You can pick up forums at the Office Depot. There's so many questions, and we're hoping to help answer some of those questions for some of you folks who are thinking, well, why wouldn't I just do my estate plan on my own? I'm Michelle Johnson, and I am Vice President of AmeriEstate Legal Plan. We've been here for 27 years doing what we love every day, helping others protect their families and selves with the living trust. And Greg, you want to introduce yourself?
Well, thank you, Michelle. I'm Greg Reese, and I'm the president and founder of AmeriEstate Legal Plan. And Michelle's right. I mean, we have a passion for what we do. We enjoy, helping people protect what's important to them. That's really the most important thing. All manner of estate planning, living trusts are one of the main features of estate planning. Not the only thing that is used in our world, but it is one of the most common estate planning tools that are used. And, as most of you may know, there's a lot of DIY or do-it-yourself internet-based platforms that have been springing up in recent years to basically turn what has commonly been a professional service into a commodity. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the pitfalls, pros and cons of DIY planning versus professional planning. So thanks, Michelle.
You're welcome. Well, thank you, Greg. Well, anyway, so as we know, and we have seen over the years, it's very risky to do it yourself when it comes to your own estate plan. Greg, tell us a little bit more about some of the major risks you see when it comes to people actually doing their own estate plan without an attorney, without any guidance. Maybe they're picking up a form at Office Depot. I've seen that a lot. And I actually see that they've picked up the wrong form, thinking they got the right form. And then also just the internet buzz that's going around with estate planning and fill in the blanks. Tell us a little bit more, Greg.
Sure. Well, as we move along, we'll get into more details, I think. But I think some of the core concepts here are, ease of convenience is one of the big pulls to looking to do something like this online, right? But questions really arise as to, most online solutions are going to be pretty well cookie cutter template solutions. It doesn't really provide you, for the most part, with access to professional guidance on the choices that you're making and how you're trying to contemplate designing the legacy for your loved ones. Other important aspects are whether the estate plan you do for yourself online is actually legal and valid, because it's not strictly filling out a questionnaire that gets populated into a template. There are other activities that need to be completed in order to ensure that your estate plan is properly formed and is functioning the way you want it. And then the third thing is the idea of maybe a false sense of security that can result, because you won't really know if you've done it right or if there's any problems that could develop down the road. And in fact, if problems do develop down the road, it's usually uncovered after you die, which means that it's too late to go back and make changes. So at a high level, those are some of the concerns that I think the DIY solution brings to bear. So, Michelle, you've just popped into the next slide here. So maybe I'll turn the tables for you a little bit. DIY platforms often lack access to licensed attorneys. That's really something that we see as a common theme, right? Michelle, if there are some platforms we've seen that say, hey, for an extra upcharge, we can connect you with an attorney. But Michelle, what is usually that attorney's involvement when operating through a DIY platform? Are they representing the client as a true attorney would, where their errors and omissions insurance applies, and that legal requirement of representation lives. Is that usually what they're doing, or are they there for another reason?
Not usually. They're hired by the do-it-yourself platform to work for the do-it-yourself platform, and having an attorney involved in that area is basically they are just using their license, so the client has, again, a false sense of security that the estate plan that the client is picking, because it's really not an attorney advising you what type, it's you as a client deciding what you want. That's what the do-it-yourself is. Nobody's telling you, and you know what, the type of, there's several different trusts out there too, Greg, for different reasons. Married couples have a lot of different trust choices, as we know. How many, AmeriState has at least, for married couples, 7 or 8 different styles of trust depending on your goal. And if you're doing a do-it-yourself, half the time you don't even know what your goal is or what you can do. You're relying on a self-help to just kind of, and then you think, well, maybe I'll click that button and talk to an attorney. Well, that attorney is basically going to be on and off the phone with you because they're really working for that platform, not for you. And most of the time, that platform only has maybe 1 or 2 different style trusts for you as a married couple. So they're not going to have, remember, they're trying to service the whole country on estate planning. We service specific states. That's why you have to be really knowledgeable on, okay, what state do you live in? And you better have an attorney who really knows that state if you're talking to them. And usually they're going to have maybe 1 or 2 choices of trust for you to choose from, or for them to discuss with you. So you want to be really careful that if you are going to use an attorney on a do-it-yourself platform, that they've been doing this for a while. Okay. There's estate planning comes with a lot of experience in doing estate plans for various types of couples and people in situations. And so I see that the explosion of this online do-it-yourself, they're just starting out. Okay. They haven't been in the game for very long. So it's going to be interesting to see, Greg, what happens when that person who does a DIY needs to come back and make updates and changes. Maybe has a parent who is incapacitated now. How do they step up to be a trustee? Do-it-yourselves do not get very deep or complicated, and estates can get very complicated when things start going wrong with people, if they become incapacitated, or maybe they pass away and then the family members come out. So we just have to make sure that you're choosing wisely. Maybe if you're doing a do-it-yourself platform, you choose wisely. There's a lot of choices out there now.
I think I might add to this slide that you have up, Michelle, that, just to piggyback on what you've said, in a DIY environment, they may or may not provide you with access to talk to an attorney. But when they do, as she said, it's usually an attorney that represents the company, not you. So usually you don't have an attorney-client relationship. Your information is not protected, and you don't have to be able to rely on their errors and omissions if anything goes wrong to help solve a financial problem that ensues because something wasn't done right. In addition, their primary goal is going to be to explain to you how to fill out the documents. What is the meaning of a successor trustee? What's the meaning of a beneficiary or contingent beneficiary? They're not there necessarily to guide you in how to make your choices and what are the most reasonable and prudent choices for you. It's really to help get you through the application or the inputting process. So you're not really represented by them, but I think that is sometimes not understood. Next thing is, if you call back later and you have questions for customer service, well, their customer service representatives are not licensed attorneys, so don't expect them to give you legal advice. They will be prohibited from doing so. Again, they'll be focused on helping you navigate the software so that you can make your own choices and not really giving you advice around your choices. But that creates a potential problem, because how do you know if you're doing the right thing for yourself and your family if you don't have proper legal guidance? I'll just give one example, because this has come up, a lot over the years. Let's say you are creating your trust and one of your children has really gone astray. They've either removed themselves from the family by their own volition, or maybe they've become such a problem child that you have disinherited them. When it comes time to do your fact finder and list the names of all your children, you already have it in your mind that I'm probably disinheriting this one children. So I'm simply going to omit naming them in my document because I don't plan to give them anything, right? That's a huge problem, and that's a huge mistake, because when you die, if you didn't name a lawful child of yours, natural or adopted child, they can contest your trust and they'll walk away with probably an equal share to everybody else. On the other hand, if you had proper guidance, your attorney would say, look, I know you want to disinherit this child, but you have to name the child, and then we have to include specific provisions which are going to disinherit that child from being able to receive any portion of your estate. You have to name them and disinherit them. Otherwise, it creates a wedge that they can open wide up to get what they want, and you're passed away at this point, so you can't fight for your wishes at that point. So the result, your assets might not be as protected as you think, or go to the people that you expect them to go to. Mm-hmm. So what do we have next, Michelle?
So basically, most of these online or even in store, I think Office Depot has some forms are 2 pages thick. It's all cookie cutter. And that's basically what we're just saying is it's a very cookie cutter process. It's like an AI process, right? You're setting up your estate plan with an AI now. I mean, and there's nobody to guide you. What you don't know is very risky. What you don't know to ask is very risky, because basically this is something people don't do all the time. They do it once and then they amend it as life goes on. And so this is not in your wheelhouse of what kind of questions do I ask? And a lot of people think, I just want to get it done. I'm going to get online and it's going to be quick and I'm going to be on and off that process. And then all of a sudden I'm going to have a document in my hands somehow, some way. I think mostly what will happen is they're going to want you to print out your documents. You print them out yourself, and then you got to take it down and finalize it with a notary who has no idea what you're doing. It does not explain the documents to you, and you got to go and find your own witnesses, which you have to with ours too, but we provide a witness and a notary with you for you to bring the documents to your home. So basically, you just want to make sure that if you do a do it yourself, you're following through with it with the right things that need to happen to validate that trust. So cookie cutter is not a good situation for most people.
Yeah, we touched on this, earlier, Michelle, and that, filling out the online questionnaire and then having your answers populated into a one-size-fits-all template, prints out nice and clean, looks beautiful. I admit, for people that are, looking at this, it looks legit, and the convenience of being able to do it so quickly and to feel a sense of accomplishment that, hey, I knocked this checkbox out. It's my New Year's resolution to get this done. I feel so good. And that's a great feeling to have. It's just that you don't necessarily understand whether or not what you've done is really going to be helpful to you and your family or not. So, for example, because of a one-time or one-size-fits-all kind of a document, they give you very limited choices because you're going to fill out a very finite questionnaire. You might have a blended family where husband and wife are in separate marriages with children from prior marriages. Maybe they would like to have the management and distribution of their estate handled by a successor trustee named from one child from each spouse. kind of a, keep the harmony in the family, represent all interests fairly. Nobody's taking advantage of the half siblings or whatever. So they may want that. Most DIY solutions are not going to offer you that choice. They're not going to tell you that it exists. They're going to say, who do you want to name in order? You can name up to 3 or up to 4. List them in order. You may want 2 people serving together. You may want a condition where I have 2 people, but like in my other example, if one cannot serve for any reason, I want somebody else to roll up into that co-trustee slot. So it takes a little bit of more thought to understand the people that you're going to name to manage your estate. Also, you're not getting any guidance on who should I name. Do I just name my oldest child? Is that just what we should do automatically? Not necessarily. Right. There are professional trustees. There are corporate trustees. There are family members. There are more than one person that can act. There are sometimes trust protectors, a close family friend that can help guide the younger generation in what they're doing. None of those options are really provided to you in a DIY platform. And then we talk about, it can be fairly quick and seem pretty easy. But don't forget, there are activities that need to be undertaken after the trust is actually printed and in your hands. You must find a notary public, pay them to notarize the documents. Adds to your overall cost, by the way. You must find witnesses to witness certain documents. And then you must undertake the process of what we call funding your living trust, which means changing the title of your important assets from your name to the name of your trust. By not doing that, it's like you buy an expensive safe for your home to protect your valuables, but then you forget the combination. You leave the door open and you put all your valuables on top of the safe, not in them, locked away and secure. A trust can be the same way. I could have a trust, but all my values can be outside of the safe, therefore not really protected. So exposed to probate, exposed to unnecessary people contesting your wishes, exposed to court intervention to answer questions that don't seem to be clear in what it is you hope to accomplish. And so, again, at first glance, feels good, check the box, got it accomplished, but does it really?
Right. I've seen it also where clients have done a do-it-yourself, and it comes in this box, and the binder can be beautiful with a nice zipper around it, and maybe their name is on it, but they never signed it because they didn't know that, we have to sign this now. I just thought if I did it online, then I'm good to go. Or they get it and they get scared because they're afraid they're going to do something wrong, and then they just leave it sitting on the shelf. I've seen that many times over here. So a lot of people get it started and they just get too scared and they don't finish it because they don't know what they don't know, and they're very scared and apprehensive. I've seen that a lot.
All right, we're into the false sense of security. I think we're getting maybe a little ahead of ourselves a little, Michelle, because I think we've talked about.
Nice.
Yeah, but that's fine. But I think when we go into the next slide, sometimes you get a false sense of security. We've kind of talked about. Go ahead and move it to the next slide. We get a false sense of security because it's possible that we could have an incomplete plan because we haven't signed and had it notarized or properly witnessed. We haven't prepared and recorded deeds to real property. And whatever you do, don't try to prepare and record your own deeds. There's too many pitfalls and problems that can occur, ranging from, invalid recordings that don't get picked up by the assessor, but get picked up by a title company when your children go to try to sell it, could result in potential reassessment of your property, meaning your property taxes could go way up. It's not an everyday thing for everyday people to do. So oftentimes, if you're going to use a DIY service, you're going to have to pay quite a bit of money to have a deed professionally prepared. And then, if they're even able to or willing to have it properly recorded so that you have your copy back. So again, without the benefit of proper legal advice, you are essentially trusting a 30-minute process in a DIY online environment to develop the entire plan for your legacy and how your family and your spouse and your children and grandchildren will be provided for from your estate, under what terms and conditions or qualifiers like minimum age for distribution, dealing with handicapped or disabled beneficiaries, dealing with beneficiaries that might be receiving some level of public benefits assistance, whether it may be Medicaid or SSI or SSD, all the type of planning that can be incorporated into your living trust document, but is not frequently addressed in a DIY because it's too specialized, and they're probably afraid of the risk associated with adding certain types of provisions that may or may not apply, but are not applied appropriately due to state law. Keep in mind, in my experience, I've seen many different estate plans through specific online operators. One in particular, I won't name names, but kind of purports to be nationwide. We've got clients that have given us copies of the estate plans that they had previously bought and dealt with online, from California to Georgia to Pennsylvania to North Carolina to Nevada, all over the place. And what I tended to notice is they were exactly the same document. They were the exact, other than changing the names to protect the innocent. And that always really struck a nerve for me, because estate planning is based on state law, not federal law. If it was based on federal law, you might make a case for your documents to really be laid out exactly the same way with the same verbiage for every section of the document. But every state has their own provisions. While they're all similar, there is state law that governs, like, who can be an executor, who can be an agent under a power of attorney or make healthcare decisions for you, or what types of legal powers do you have from state to state. They can vary. And you have one size fits all document for somebody who lives across the country versus somebody who lives on the other side of the country. There's something not right about that. So just something to be aware of.
Well, a lot of people want to do these estate plans because it's cheap, right? I think that's the main reason, is they feel like they can save a lot of money. And so when you go online, they will start you at a specific point, like get your trust done or your will done for $99, right? That's the lead in, right? As we all know. And then when you get in there, you have to pick and choose more things because you have more things. And so those start adding up. And let's not forget about, and you got to get this notarized, and you got to get this recorded, and you have somebody else on title to your house, we need to take them off. You got to do that too. It's too hard for an AI or a do-it-yourself to know all these things about how your deeds are titled, what specific issues can come up when you transfer title, somebody off title to your name. There's all kinds of consequences that can happen. And the pricing just keeps ticking up and ticking up and ticking up. And by the time you're to the maximum where you think you've got it, you know what? You might as well just go for the right way to do it and get representation. Somebody who's going to be with you for life, like Ameris State Legal Plan and their attorneys. And some people that you can call when you have questions and you want to talk specifically about your estate and you want to make updates and changes. You're going to spend a little bit more, but you're not going to spend 30 to 50% less with the Ameris State Legal Plan because of the way we're structured. We're not a self-help, and we've never been a self-help. We could certainly implement a self-help easily. We could do it. But we see so many problems with that because we see the clients coming in with the self-help documents. And that's just something that Ameris State believes in strongly, is an attorney who is specialized in estate planning is going to be there to help pave the way for the clients.
Yeah,
So
it's really
don't get
about,
burdened by the cheap prices. We all know anything that's cheap, is it really worth it? Right?
but
So
what's important to us is that it's done right and it's done right the first time. And you have a mechanism to go back to make changes, updates, or amendments. Michelle and I were talking earlier about, the average length of time one of our customers is coming back to us on their own volition because of changes in their family dynamic, or updates that they want to make, or they've acquired more assets and they're rethinking how it all should be distributed or managed. And, our average client will come back to us on their own within the first 3 years, and probably within a similar frequency throughout their lives, because they either have questions, they want to confirm that what they have now still fits the changing circumstance that they want to talk to us about. And if not, a mechanism to inexpensively, if not for free, in our case, some things are free and some things are deeply discounted, to create the simple updates that might be necessary to meet the changes in their family dynamic or family circumstances. Second important thing about this, and that's to avoid having a false sense of security. You know that you've got it right the first time, but as a backup, we all have insurance, right, on things like our home and our cars, et cetera. And, our insurance basically is, because you also get the benefit of speaking in basically an attorney-client setting. You get a relationship which enables you to have access to their legal expertise, but also their errors and omissions insurance. So what did I say earlier? If something goes wrong, generally nobody's going to know about it until after you died. Too late to change it at that point. But if you're represented by an attorney, access to his E&O, his professionalism and expertise should make sure that nothing bad happens. But in the very rare occasion that it would, then there is an insurance policy in the background that can help make matters right if something like that happened. But of course, the chances of that are greatly diminished if you're receiving professional advice, because let's face it, these folks have spent a lot of years in school, training, and in practice to learn their craft and to understand the law and to work through various families' particular needs and situations. And so the chance of having a mistake occur in that environment versus in a DIY environment, it's like night and day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point. Let's go on to the next slide. What do we got? Okay, a real life cautionary tale. Consider the case of prominent DIY estate planning company that became the target of a class action lawsuit in California. You want to talk about that, Greg?
Well, again, I don't want to name names because our inclination is not to try to build ourselves up at the expense of others and to name to call people out. It's just I don't think it's an ethical practice. But people can search for themselves. But there was an instance of a class action lawsuit that occurred in California, accusing the company of deceptive business practices, misleading customers into believing their documents were equivalent, just the same as those prepared by an attorney, and also allowing unlicensed representatives to provide legal advice in some cases. And that affected over 3,000 customers, I think, involved in that particular class action. There was another class action lawsuit brought against another DIY platform that alleged that people that had larger estates that chose to use that platform did not have the proper tax planning features inside of their trusts to help manage tax mitigation or tax avoidance when they died for their family. And because their DIY trust did not include proper tax planning provisions, the families ended up getting stuck with unnecessary taxes to a large degree. So again, these are things that happen after the fact, can't go back and change them. And a remedy for some of these folks was to hire an attorney or pull together to try to get a class action going where, I'm sure they got some money, but it wasn't enough to cover their needs, because guess who got most of that money?
Yeah, those are never worth it. Never worth it. And by the way, on every single DYI, at the bottom, it says, this is not legal advice or intended for legal advice. This is do it yourself, meaning do at your own risk. That's what this means in this case. Do at your own risk. So my message to you, people watching, is don't do it at your own risk. Do it with a reputable estate plan who has reputable attorneys who understand the laws of your state and understand they can see the future for you based on your family dynamics. And you need that ongoing advice and that attorney back in your trust, because when things happen, they come out, your beneficiaries, whoever, if they feel scorned, they're going to come out of the woodwork and go after that successor trustee and those beneficiaries in that trust. And if there is nobody backing that trust, an attorney involved, it's going to be a mess. And because there's nobody to verify that I was the attorney, I spoke to them. I know this is exactly what they wanted, and I am backing that trust. So that happens a lot. So you want to make sure that you're working with a reputable attorney who knows what they're doing and will back that trust when stuff hits the fan, and you know what that stuff is.
Yeah. And that's an important point, Michelle, because
Gotta be clean.
The concept of having peace of mind, knowing that you have planned and written out and established the plan for your legacy and how your family members, your children, et cetera, will benefit without the interruption of probate and excessive legal fees and time delays, et cetera, et cetera. But it's also, when you do pass, when you finally do leave our big blue, beautiful blue marble, your kids are left with the trust. Doesn't mean that they know exactly what to do with it at that point in time. So if you're working with a firm such as AmeriEstate, we also provide administration assistance, not trying to take it away, take over for them, but to serve as basically a coach or a guide, and can help them with maybe some of the more legal documents or notices that might have to be prepared by state law, but essentially just to be a shoulder for them to get advice and guidance on how to go about selling the estate, and then somebody they can talk to if they hit any kind of roadblock that they don't have, the answer for. Like a bank says something that puts up a little roadblock. How do I get around that roadblock? Why are they not cooperating with me? What did I give them, and what should I have given them? Having that kind of support in the background, which is in many cases free, which is how we support our clients. But if we need to actually, roll up our sleeves and draft documents or intercede with a financial institution or something like that, the fee structure is very minimal, to be able to do that. But it puts your family in control, whoever you have appointed, but gives them a resource. And I think most of our clients, the biggest compliment we ever get, and one of the biggest reasons they said that they chose us in the first place, is because we promised them that we would be there for their children when something happened to them. Mm-hmm. And for 27 years and counting, we've done just that.
Right. I'm very proud of us, Greg. Really, I am. Our clients are extremely happy. We hear it every day, all the time. So whether you're here, you were invited by maybe one of our business partners, or you just got an advertisement from wonderful Caroline, who's trying to help get the word out. It's all about education. And that's why we're here. We want to educate you. Just be aware if somebody says, I'm going to go on that DYI estate plan, or be careful where you tell people to get their estate plan done. Don't go. Just do it online. Okay, that could be very hurtful to them. And if you're a business partner with us, that's called kind of a negligent referral because there's really no attorney backing that, and it could come back to bite you. So be really careful where you tell people to go. Listen to those influencers out there, right? And a lot of you on here are influencers, and so our business has been built on trust and affordability.
No pun intended.
Oh, yeah. Affordability, you know exactly what you're getting. You know how much it's going to be. You know you're going to be speaking to an attorney. We're very old school. We are still old school. I don't know if we're ever going to make it in the online, if, time marches on, Greg, and all of a sudden nobody's seeing anybody anymore or talking to anybody anymore. I just don't think AmeriState will go there because we so believe in the old school way of the clients need to speak to an attorney. They don't necessarily need to be in their office eyeball to eyeball, but they need to speak to the attorney. And we wholly believe in getting the trust document, this is AmeriState's, in the hand of the clients with the licensed notary who knows how to talk about it, bring it to you, get it signed, notarized, handle the deeds, get everything back to AmeriState. Old school, guys. This is the way it is. And that is it's been a beautiful service for our clients. And we've seen many people become incapacitated and pass away. We've been here for a long time. And I'm telling you, our trusts work and they do the job. It's really amazing. And we have amazing reviews. Of course, I'm pushing AmeriState, but this whole seminar is about why you need to be so careful about going online and just doing things yourself, especially when it comes to estate planning. And it's like your doctor. We're like your estate planning doctor, right? And this is your estate protection plan. Okay, it's like your life insurance. It's your insurance for your home and your car. This is your insurance for your assets and your things you've worked so hard for. So don't put that in your own hands. You're not the expert. Okay, we're going to help you and be the expert for you. We're your advisor. It's like you go to a financial advisor. They are telling you based on their experience and their knowledge and their background and their education, years of it, making sure that you are well taken care of and things are going to work for you. So
yeah.
We have a few questions if we wanted to. Greg, did you have something to say?
Well, I just want to kind of touch on, Michelle says we're kind of old school, which, don't be dissuaded. We incorporate a lot of technology here.
Yeah.
A ton of technology, but we believe in sort of the high touch, high tech, blend of providing our services. So there's a lot of technology that goes on around here, but we do believe in the old fashioned principles of personal interaction, personal problem solving, incorporating licensed, experienced professionals to help guide each of our clients in the process, to provide the ability for people to have someone they can talk to, not just Siri or, hey, Google or what have you. How do I deal with this? Actually have somebody with real world experience. Because guess what? When it comes time to settle your estate, your people have to deal with people, not machines. They have to deal with people.
There's no way AI and
you've got to know how to get through whatever roadblocks people might put up in front of you. Not that they want to, but it could happen. So high tech, high touch is kind of our approach. And do you see any questions that have come up that you want to jump into?
Well, there's one that just, how do we get people to stop procrastinating and get their estate plan done? People are tough, man. We can help with that. You put somebody in touch with us, we're going to help guide them and help them understand. It's all about education and help, and maybe bringing something home to that person. Just by asking the questions and and telling them, oh, you have, just talking about their family. Oh, you have minor children. Oh, that's really good. It's so important to have a trust when you have minor children. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why you shouldn't put those minor children on as a beneficiary on your life insurance. That's not a good plan. And most people don't even know that. So
don't add your children on to title of your home.
Yes.
Thinking that's your quote estate plan.
Because they're not educated and they do things out of panic. So get people in touch with us. Here's a barcode. Here's our phone number. You know how to reach us. You've seen us. We'll talk to your clients. We'll talk to you. We can help guide you. If you've done one of those do-it-yourself estate plans, let's talk. Maybe you're a little freaked out now. You should be. But there's things that we can do to help you understand. Did you do this? Did you do that? Have you done this? What does it look like? And most of the self-help plans are maybe 5 pages long. I've seen them, but ours are pretty in a nice portfolio. It even says estate plan on the side. So you want to make sure people can find your book. Okay. You don't want to be secretive about it. So, and then we're going to be here for you for life. And as we age here at AmeriState, we will have more attorneys coming on board and more people coming on board to run the show over here. And so if one of our attorneys passes away or just retires, we'll have another attorney to pick up just where that attorney left off for your estate plan. We see that a lot. A lot of the attorneys have retired or passed away. Not a lot, but over the years we've seen it. So just know that you're not going to be stuck. We will have a solution for you as well.
Yeah. So let's take a couple things from kind of related. Kelly and Evelina, one says, my parents have a trust with you and so much has changed in their life. So you've never seen that before. How do you make changes and should I have my own plan? Well, the easiest thing is to just call us up and say, hey, look, if it's your plan or your parents' plan, just let us know and ask for the member services department and we'll talk to you. We'll actually talk to you and we'll say, what's going on? What are you interested in knowing? What kind of changes are you contemplating? We'll even provide annual reviews over the phone or Zoom with you on your estate plan. So you can come to our offices, or if it's more convenient, we all have copies of your estate plans if we've prepared them. So we can do a review over the phone where we can say, hey, get your trust binder out in front of you. I have it online here that I have it in our internal database, and I'll direct you what chapter and what page to look at. Let's review the important provisions. So we can do things very easily. First step is just reach out to us. Let us know that you're needing some information or you're contemplating a change. And we'll walk you through, all of the things, probably more than you even thought of. We'll walk you through with questions that we'll have for you. So that's probably the best thing. Just reach out. We're here for you.
Yeah. And hi, this is Carolyn. You can't see me, but for Kelly and everyone here today, Kelly, you're asking, do I need my own plan? That's a very good question. People don't often know if they need a plan or not. So what we recommend is that you contact our office, either QR code, that'll take you to a direct link where you can schedule. Vicki will reach out to you and she'll schedule a consultation, or you can call this number right here. But that way, Kelly, you can talk with our trust advisor and she can ask you specific questions to see if you do need a living trust.
Yeah, not everybody needs one, but all of us need something. Whether it's a trust, a will, or just powers of attorney. You need one of those 3 things. Everybody.
Well, at least, or more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or more. Yeah.
Everybody needs a plan. You don't have to be rich or not rich. Everybody needs a plan. Just determining what the right plan is for you. In other words, we're not here to sell you the Cadillac if all you really need is a Toyota. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you need for now, and that's, best for your budget, best for your lifestyle, best for your needs, we're not going to try to sell you something that you don't want or need, but we're going to help you match up, what's appropriate for your particular condition in life based on your family, their ages, and how they're able to cope with or without you, your assets, things of that nature. So we'll help, guide you through that process, and then we'll hand you off really on a silver platter to one of our attorneys. I see Gus Avila is on the call, so he's listening in. Thanks for joining us, Gus. He's one of our premier featured attorneys here in California for our California market, and they'll help expertly guide you home. Make sure that your wishes are detailed, buttoned up, and then transferred into a custom estate plan just for you, where our team will supervise the delivery, execution, and notarization of your documents. We'll facilitate the preparation and recording of deeds for real estate you own to title them into the trust as they should be done. Help you with questions regarding your retirement plans and beneficiaries, and all the myriad of things that you may have questions about. That really is the full service that we seek to provide and have available for each and every one of our clients.
Yeah,
So,
it's nice to have a resource you can call without ever getting billed. You call and you talk to us. We're not going to put a bill in the mail to you. That's not how AmeriState works. We call us with any questions you have. We have a whole team of people here for you, which is really nice.
that's right.
Really, really nice. And where are we located? Our physical office in California is in Costa Mesa. You're welcome to come by and see us if you're close by, or if you're driving down the 405 and going to the Laguna Beach, come on over and say hi. We also have offices. We service the states of Arizona, Texas, Tennessee, Virginia, and Maryland as well. Those are our key states that we are in.
Yeah, and we're very convenient. You don't need to come into the office. Like Greg said earlier, we could do a Zoom. We can just do a phone call. Or if you want to come in the office, you're more than welcome to.
And you're not going to print out the documents that we do for you.
Yeah.
Okay? You're not doing any heavy lifting. We are not leaving this in your hands to print out and go take it somewhere to get it notarized. So anyways, thank you for joining us today. It's we've been online for 40 minutes. So bye everybody. Have a great evening. Wonderful dinner. Call us or email us with any questions. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Go to ameristate.com to find our location and other information about our services.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, Michelle. Great job. See you all later.
Bye.